Yep. I don't know what you did, but it worked.
I don't know. So for those who don't know, Jessie does our customer service for us. She had a baby a few months ago, baby Atticus. We'll have to talk more about him at some point and show him off. But this morning I asked if she could come with me on live with me to talk about fabric, and I'm gonna actually probably start wrapping with one of these as we chat, so you can kind of see how it moves. This is an example of our jacquard weave, the Peacock Scale Provence, and I just love to show things like this off while live. But yeah, so how are you doing, Jessie?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm tired. That is my favorite. Like right there, that little piece of cloth you have is my favorite, I think. Like, yeah, it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I'm tired. You know, he wakes up every night at midnight to 5 and 7. Like I just would like 6 straight hours. Just once would be great.
Yeah, he's not 4 months yet. So big.
Yeah, he'll be 5 months old here in a couple weeks. I know, it happens so fast. Way, 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 way too fast. Right? I mean, he's already like sitting up pretty good. Like we're starting to get a nice like hip side. Like I'm like, we're this close to being able to throw you on my back. And then I can just like do things and you'll be happy because you're being held, and I won't be angry because you're in front of me and in my way, because I have anxiety that I'm gonna like I don't like things, but when I'm trying to be productive, it's really when I'm trying to be productive. Like, oh, you'll be held and cuddled and I don't have 25 things to do. Okay, great. But you know, when the dishes are piling up, I don't want to like splash water all over him, so I just can't. And I'm at 35 years old, still cannot do the dishes without getting myself wet. So I'm that person.
I just thought we just all accepted that. Is that not a thing?
Oh yeah, it's
yeah. So I done this. This is actually not a really broken in jacquard wrap, and we've got more information about breaking in our blog, and we're gonna have a nice detailed video about different fabric. But this is kind of an example of fabric that's a little bit. I think this is 280 GSM. So it's about a mid-weight on the heavier side, but really doesn't feel heavy, at least not to me. And it's a great fabric choice for a lot of reasons. But a lot of people, understandably, you know, kind of have some questions about the fabrics, and kind of what you know, Jessie, from the customer service side, you know, what kind of things do you see people, you know, ask about that, you know, maybe our customers would like to.
A lot of times people really focus on the price difference between some of the fabrics that we sell, and we really have like 3 main styles of fabrics that are I've got some scraps here sitting in front of me, and we deal with the stripes. All right, there's the stripes on the website. The stripes are a broken twill weave, so the weft. How intricate do you want me to get? So the material is woven on a loom, a very impressive loom if you ever see some of Lenny's videos, and it's just, I think it's mesmerizing to watch. So the fibers come off, and they're actual, like, I know that they're thicker than hair fibers. So these fibers are wrapped around the loom, and you've probably seen them in like old videos or something where it's this big loom and it goes ka-chunk, ka-chunk, and when it goes ka-chunk, the fibers that are running through that loom, they actually cross, and then we shove more fibers through, going perpendicular to that, or the other direction. All right, so we take that thing and we shove the fiber through, and we go ka-thunk, and we shove more fiber back through, ka-thunk. So the fiber that's going around and through is called the warp, and then the fiber that's going back and forth is called the weft. So in Lenny's broken twill weave, or by definition, a broken twill weave is what you expect. It's strand going this way, and it's one strand every kathunk. All right, seems pretty simple. Yes, kathunk is a word. I'm sorry if you hate it.
But it does like really accurately put the picture, because I think about especially like the hand looms that you see, and we do have, so we have some that are woven on hand looms. Those are the Hirosol, and we're gonna get more of those in soon, I hope. And then we have some that are woven on a machine loom. And if you want to see what that looks like, our Peacock's Tail Fantasy long woven wrap has some really cool photos of like all the like threads, like the spools like going into it. It's pretty cool.
Are you, a quick question, is my video like the voice, is it crackly?
Not in a way that bothers me. Like I
Okay.
Yeah, like I can hear you. Yeah.
Yours is a little bit, and I don't know, I just assumed it was me and my wonderful, wonderful internet that I'm having, because now you're breaking it.
As it pauses on you.
If it gets bad, let me. So the other main one that we sell is the jacquard weaves.
Oh, no.
Like we sell some of them. Oh, did you lose me? Am I there?
Are you?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. I couldn't for a minute. It put me in the black hole. So sorry, everyone.
It was probably my internet, and I'm probably the one that disappeared for a minute. I'm sorry. Sorry. Starlink will eventually make it here, and me and my dirt road will have internet in like dependable, speedy internet. I have internet, it's just not dependable and speedy. And our router broke yesterday. Well, the last like couple days we've been having really bad internet for our home. So our home router broke, so I'm working off a hotspot right now. It's fine, it's fine. After this, I'm going to go get a new router, is the plan. Okay. So now that we've got a good connection again, so we have the broken twill that's just a once and kathunk and once and kathunk. So then Lenny got fancy, and Lenny makes the beautiful like printed stuff that you see that's a color on one side and like the opposite on the other. So what happens with this is woven in this direction through the loom, all right? So it kathunks like this. And they actually, when they send that spindle of thread through, they actually send two fibers go through, which is how they're able to like weave the patterns in there. And if you look really close, you can actually see like the detail of those fibers. And it happens on the back, like you can see it on both sides because it's a woven material, and it's just, you can see all the fibers. And you know, if you ever cut your wrap, don't cut your wrap. Do not cut your wrap. But if you're done using it, or it's broken and you would like to like make a bag out of it, because bags out of this material are phenomenal, you will find that this material, like, it pulls really easy. And then this side, like where I have that double strand, if you could see how easy it was for me to pull that, this is a lot harder because those two fibers before the kathunk is really wrapping themselves in there and holding it more taut or tight, like taut. So I have a preference. And
you can see how tight that weave is, like she's saying. So like, so you know, in the broken twill weave, we've just got this, you know, it's just different. I have some of that back here too, but like this is the example of the jacquard. You can see the different layers, and this one's more complex even than the one that she showed. You can see kind of those different threads that go through there. There's a lot more sort of components to that and to keeping that structure. so that in contrast, this is that broken twill. It's not that there's not detail. There is. It's thinner. It's less.
There's less fibers in it to actually do to do as much. But these are great because they're lightweight. But for me personally, if I'm baby wearing, it's hot. All right, baby wearing in general to me it's just a hot thing. So I don't notice a huge difference from this to this, personally. Like in the same style carrier, even going like baby wearing is hot regardless. You're gonna be warm if you have a baby on you. I just want it to look pretty. Like I want it to look pretty and I want it to feel sturdy. All right. I really hate seeing that light in the background. I'm sorry. We're just gonna, okay, that's better. I am really hard on things. I'm one of those people that breaks things really easy, that drops things. If somebody can break it, Jesse will figure out a way how to do it. So I tend to like things that are more sturdy and a little bit more robust, just for the fact that I feel like it's less likely to break. We're getting a more quality product. So if I were to just use one of these, yeah, it feels sturdy. But when I compare this to this in a carrier, things really change. So I've got a lot of fabric here, but this is a Med-Eye. This is the Jurassic Park, really long strap. Jurassic Park original, like the OG blue and green.
And this one's reversible, because you can reverse that bolt because it's got the fabric waist. So like that's what I love about these two. This one's a little more subtle in the reverse, but like look at this reverse for these dinos. I mean, it's just like breathtaking. And that particular carrier, you could do the entire thing the other side if you want.
You totally can too, and nobody would know the difference. Like the seams are made, like, this sounds really silly, but the seams are made even, so you're not seeing like a fold over like you would with a wrap or a ring sling. So this one, yeah, the Med-Eye is completely reversible and gorgeous on the inside. Like I always like Lenny's reverse. You get the stripes and you don't have anything on the inside like you do with, because it's the same thing. They don't do that intricate weave. So I wore my toddler. This is a toddler size. The honey here is toddler size, and I wore my daughter in it like once or twice, and I was like, oh, it's okay. Like I miss my really nice wrap. It's fine. And I don't really like it being tied around my waist, so that's like a thing. And then I got this one, and I don't care that it's tied around my waist because it feels more sturdy. And like this is a mini size, and I probably wouldn't have a problem carrying my daughter in it, and she's almost 4, if it weren't for the fact that like the panel isn't wide enough. Like I'm actually sad that my toddler is a like broken twill weave and not a regular, just for that whole thing. Does that make sense? Did I just babble completely? I'm really good at that.
No, it's just things are making a lot of noise in the background.
It's you and not me, because I was quieting them before I started.
Sorry. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that that's something to remember is that these carriers, like they're all really well made. Like they're all really high quality, and that's, I'm gonna be sitting at a blog post later today, and it's one of the first things I mentioned. It's like if your budget is just for one of these, like you're still getting an amazing product. It's just that when you have like the extra fibers and the extra there, it just gives you that extra support, that extra strength. Sylvia says it all makes sense. Love all the info. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Let us know if you have other questions. We're going to talk more about them, but if something comes up, we're always happy to chat. Yeah, so it just, it gives you extra freshness, so extra that. And, and like you said, people get kind of scared, well, it's heavier and I'm afraid it's going to be too hot. And I think there's some of that, you having had your baby, your little tiny baby in the heat of the summer, it's been so hot. I mean, kind of what has been your feeling, like kind of what are your go-tos with him, and do you feel like it changes kind of based on the fabric, kind of how you feel?
Okay, so my experience with Atticus so far is style. Like, I grab based on style, not on fabric type. I don't care what the fabric type is because baby wearing is hot. Like, okay, guys, I have a little bit of a collection of carriers. All right, we're not gonna obsess over that, okay? But like, I have, like, I have a mesh upgrade and I have a broken twill cotton upgrade. I don't notice a difference between the two of them at all as far as heat goes. Maybe it's just me, I don't notice them. Maybe other people are more sensitive to that and I'm just not as sensitive. But I go for style. Like, if we're at home and I know we're going to be going in and out, or if we're going to a friend's house or play date where I know he's going to be in and out a lot, he's going in a ring sling. Like, I love a ring sling. They're one of my favorite carriers. Funny side story, back in the day when I had my daughter, before I was in carrier world, I was like, a ring sling? Who would want that? No, I don't want any information on that from the lady I was buying my cloth diapers from. She should have gave me the info. Like, she tried. She did. I didn't listen. I should have listened. I would have had a whole lot better experience with my daughter than it's fine. Anyways, so ring sling is like, it's kind of my go-to. And I've been using a lot of my Girasol lately because, well, this is my out and about carrier. So I have a blue herringbone ring sling that is our at home, and it's this color right here. And I use it a lot at home if it gets dirty, if it gets like food dropped on it, because I don't ever eat with my kid being held at all.
No. I haven't dropped multiple objects on my son. Yeah, no.
So, like, if it gets like food dropped on it or something, I can throw it in the wash. I'm not being near as finicky with that one as I am with, and this one it's pretty. This one was, I bought this as a gift to myself when I found out I was pregnant. I didn't even know gender yet. I didn't care. I wanted a pretty ring sling for myself. So this is my out and about. This is a more on the broken twill side of things. It's a Girasol, it's a hand woven. So it really feels different. It's not near as silky as like the Lenny Lamb standards, like the broken twill, the striped ones. Even though this is striped, it is more sturdy. I honestly have no desire to get a ring sling that's a broken twill. Like, it just.
Sylvia wants to know too if you have, because she just started using a ring sling, which is super exciting. And yeah, I love that. We love helping you learn. And she's asking if you have fabric recommendations about that. I don't know.
Always, my first recommendation is if you see a carrier that you love, like the print that you love, get that one. And that's what it really boils down to, is like, yes, this print may be a little bit cooler than this print, but if you don't love this one, you're not going to use it as much. That was part of the reason I bought this before I knew gender, was I wanted something that I thought was really pretty, that I wanted to grab for, that I thought I would wear in public. And because sometimes I get a little like skittish and don't want to like show personality and do pretty things. So I definitely highly recommend to get the one that you love the most. Like, that is the best piece of advice I can try and give anyone, is the one that you love is the one that you need to get. If you're between a few of them, hey, I like this stripes color, I like this print. If you want something that's more sturdy, that has a little bit more oomph to it, is that a word? Can we use that as a word?
Yeah.
Not a words person. Alexandra is the words person of the group. She's got all kinds of beautiful words that she says, and I go, that's nice. Sounds pretty. I would have never thought of that. I say things like kadunk and oomph. But really, like, I want something, like, I like a durable product. I want something that feels like it's going to last. The standards feel like they're going to last. There's nothing wrong with them. They're pretty too, and they have the same, like, vibrant colors in them that Lenny carries. Like, Lenny just, they really do have some really vibrant colors. Like, this is Carasola colors, or at least just like a 4x4 square of it.
Yeah.
But they're still the vibrant colors. It's still going to be pretty if you don't like a print. I like the peacock's tail print because it's subtle. It's a subtle color flow, and then you've got the variations of colors through it, and then you've got that back color popping out of there. To me, that's really pretty. Some of them, like for example, the dragons. What one is this one? Dragon's tail or something?
Is it Fire and Blood? I feel something like that.
No, I think you're right. You're more likely to be right than I. Like, this is really bold, and it's like bold and like, it's just not me personally. So if I was given the choice between this and this, like, I'd still go with this one, because I don't really like Carousel. I don't like the stripes. I like the prints. I think the prints are pretty. They're subtle. They're nice. Or are we getting out by other carriers? Because I got more. I got more.
I was just looking to see if I could find the dragon one, to be honest. But I think I like stuffed it in this bag of magic, and I'm not sure.
Those bags are magic bags. They just keep carrying more and more stuff, and they carry so much weight. Have you taken them to the grocery store?
I did start doing it. I think there were 4 carriers in this bag.
It is a bag. It's beautiful.
But I think, but yeah, they are really great for groceries. You can put like a bunch of stuff in them, and then, like, you know, the person checking out is like, why do you have so much stuff? Yeah, the dragon is in here. I don't know where it ran away. This one is, though. This is a different version. So, just to kind of show you like some different blends. So, like, we've talked about weave. So there's weave, and then there's also like the fiber like type. And so just it's one of those things too where, like, this is really gorgeous. This is one of my favorites. Just you've seen me talk about it a bunch of times. This is the Symphony Bloom Moon. I don't know if we have any right now, but I'm sure we'll get another blend like this in. And if you're a member, a Rouge VH Club member, we can get this in for you and other blends. But this is nice because this is a mix of cotton, linen, and modal. It just kind of changes the flow, changes how it feels, gives some little extra properties. It's one of those things where you don't necessarily have to get something specifically for those properties. And I never want someone to feel afraid of a carrier because of X properties. My philosophy is I really want to have, as much as possible, I really want to have things that are easy for you to get, to learn, to use, and to love. And so there are fibers out there that are a beast. I mean, Didymos at one point came out with a 500 GSM wrap. It's a carpet, okay? Like, I wouldn't keep something like that as a regular item, because there'd be so few people who would feel comfortable getting it and kind of starting to use it and go, right? So there's nothing really on our site that's going to be like a beast. Things that'll be a little bit harder than others. Some of our blends are a little bit tougher. Linen is this is like a linen cotton modal blend, so it's got a little bit more give. 100% linen, or even some of the linen cotton actually feels stiffer to me than 100% linen, which is interesting. Some of that stuff we can kind of get in the weeds and talk about this and that. We need a little more breaking in, we need a little bit more this, a little bit more that, but even that is still kind of in the easy care range. If you're having a hard time breaking in by hand, just keep putting it in that washer.
That first wash does so much for your carrier. Like, I don't know if I can really, like, over explain that to a person when I'm chatting with them. Like, break your carrier in. When you get that thing, like, take it out, enjoy the beauty, and put it in the washing machine. Even if you wash it just with water, like, the fact that the washing machine is moving it around and it's just a little bit, it's helping break those fibers and putting them into place and settling them a little bit and making them all a little comfy, and then iron it, man. Like, just, if you got an iron and you can give it some iron it. Like, and that will make that carrier of whatever, even my mesh. Okay, so I have a mesh upgrade. I just did that a few minutes ago. My mesh upgrade, I wore it without washing it and without really breaking it in. It was like my first time. He was like 2 weeks old, and I've got him in this mesh carrier. And it's like a new book bag. Like, honestly, that's one of the best ways I can describe it to somebody that they can relate to. You know, you get that book bag at the beginning of the year and the straps don't sit right and they're like popping out and they're still like folded from being in packaging and stuff. Like, we have the same thing with the carriers. So we have the upgrade, which has okay, this isn't my mesh. I think it's by the door. I use that one a lot. I use that one pretty frequently. So so we have, this is also an upgrade. So you get these shoulder straps that come with it. When I put it on, the shoulder straps were wanting to come out. It was really hard for me to clip the buckle that goes right here, like next to your side. I was getting a little frustrated. My husband was helping me, and I put it, I hand washed it. I literally just got it wet, pushed it around in the sink a couple times, and let it drip dry. And I don't know what it is that does it to the foam and the material itself. I didn't put any detergent in, and I literally just washed it by hand and drip dried. And things just cuddle you. And yes, you can totally wash and dry a Lenny Lamb half buckle. With a buckle, they tell you to hand wash it. That one I might just throw in the washing machine, or if you want to be really careful with it, hand wash it. Hand washing it makes a difference too. Like, doing something in the water after it's all woven and it's sewed together. Lenny doesn't wash them again. Lenny, I think, washes that material like once or twice after it's woven. Is that correct? Or do they wash it?
They do. I can't remember how many times. They do some pre-washing, and so basically there's like a number that they hit for the fabric, and that goes through the process. And so every now and then they list something grade B, and that's something where, like, they put it through the normal process and it's still not quite where they like it to be for softness. So a lot of brands won't do much of that prep at all. There are some brands who do tons and tons of prep. Like our Hirosol and Didymos, when they come out of the box, are a lot stiffer than Lenny Lamb is out of the box, but they all benefit from this process. If we're gonna put something in a washing machine with a buckle, I always recommend buckle all the things that have the buckles. Put other stuff in the drum always. Whenever you wrap in the carrier, always never put it as the only thing in the drum, because what happens, and if you've ever hand washed one of these, you know what I'm talking about. Water is heavy, and water in catching in all of these fibers is so, like when I did my video on breaking in, you can see it. I mean, I was sore because it's heavy, like that fabric, to like do that all that hand washing. So I get that it's not something you want to do necessarily. Just make sure you have some other things in the drum and on a delicate cycle. And you could put it in the dryer. They're cotton, they're linen, but I'd rather just hang them. It doesn't take that long.
If it's a wrap or a sling, man, I throw it in the dryer. Anymore, it's just because I broke in my fabric, and at that point we are washing to clean, not washing to break in. Like, I've got, icing was dripped all down one, and Livy like dumped a bunch of lemonade on it. Like, I want that clean, and then So when I'm cleaning it that way, I typically throw it in with like some towels and stuff, and then I forget that the carrier was even in there, and then it comes out, and I'm like pulling like 12 feet of fabric, and I'm like, whatever. At this point, it's done. I'm gonna take you on the front porch and drip dry. No, it's done, and it goes in the dryer, and you deal with more shrinkage that way. Potentially more shrinkage in your warp, so please, or in your wrap. So please be careful of that. Like, caution, enter at your own risk. I'm breaking the rules here, okay? Caution. Don't tell people things they're not supposed to do and not give them caution, all right? There's a chance you're going to shrink that by doing it in the dryer. I dry almost everything on low heat at this point.
So no, yeah. Because I do, like, when I was, I have put wraps and ring slings in the dryer, on low. I do it sometimes. I don't usually notice a problem, but if you've got like an older dryer, for example, this happens in cloth diaper groups a lot too. I see, like, what happened to my diapers? It melted. It's like, probably because your dryer is malfunctioning, right? So, but sometimes we don't know, because like we just throw our clothes in there, it's not a big deal. Like, you don't necessarily notice individual pieces of clothing like you would a wrap or a diaper cover or something like that. So is this kind of like what is comfortable for you? A tumble dry and low is not, because it's cut. So perspective. So yes, they're beautiful. Yes, they're woven. Yes, there's so much artistry. Yes, they're they're super high quality, super nice pieces. Yes, all of those things. But it's still cotton, like, or it's still linen. So we don't have to, we don't have to get super duper excited about it. Would you agree, Jesse?
That's exactly why I throw it in the dryer. Is I'm like, it's just cotton, like the t-shirt I'm wearing, like the shirt I'm wearing. So if that can go in the dryer and it's not shrinking a bunch, like, why can't I just put my ring sling in there and put a sock over your rings? Like, when you put it in the wash, just take a I don't have a sock handy, but just take a sock and just put it over top of that, to keep these from like being really annoying. Like, and
I mean, like, dunk the dent inside your washer? That doesn't sound like that.
no, and that it protects your washing machine and your dryer potentially too. And like Girasol, they actually give you colored rings. I don't know if you can. These ones are pink, and so they give you these colored rings, and I'm scared that they're gonna like chip off, like the color will chip off, but I don't think they will, because these are like dyed, like the metal is dyed. So yeah. I doubt it. I'm more cautious about the metal rings than I am the fabric, because I know that the fabric is going nowhere. I feel like the fabric is more dependable than the rings are.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, and we have sling rings too. You wouldn't be able to add them to a ring sling, but you could use them with your long twin wraps. And yes, they are like hand. Most of them, I believe, all of them, maybe not, but ours, at least that we sell, are hand dyed. So like they take the base metal and they put it in a vat of color, and then when it comes back up as, that's the color, and it's very very interesting. And I don't always get the exact same colors because like science and humidity and time and stuff. They're chemical reactions, but it isn't true. But they do. Yeah, they get little nudges. Oh, somebody wants to come and chat with us. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you'd like to share, and we'll chat. Yeah. Yeah. So, what else? What else did we?
So.
What? No. Hi. We love to chat. Let us know. We're happy to answer. So I think I wanted to ask you too. So the first time that Jessie got something from Mama and Bruce, she got some mystery boxes, right? And so we had a basic and we had a jacquard in there that I sent you. Kind of, what was your impression of that comparison based on kind of what you had thought before you got them, and then once you got the two very different styles, because I wanted to send you some really different ones.
She did. So she really did send me two completely different wraps. I got a Symphony. It's back there. I got a size 6 Symphony. It's a jacquard weave. It is heavy. And then I got a little bit lighter standard broken twill. I think it was mint. I actually gifted that. I guess if that, like, not to say that I didn't like it, but if that kind of gives you an initial, like, idea, if that gives you an initial idea of how much I preferred that carrier, it's a wrap. A wrap is a wrap, like, right? A wrap's a wrap. It doesn't matter. You can wrap with anything. But once I started working with the jacquard woven wrap versus the standard broken twill wrap, I realized that I liked it a lot better. My daughter was, God, do you realize that this was almost 3 years ago that I ordered that first initial box?
Yeah.
So my daughter was almost 1, right? 1999. Oh, maybe it was 20. Maybe she was almost 2.
I think maybe she's almost 2. Yeah,
I think you're right. So she was almost 2. And my daughter has a dairy intolerance, so we deal with a lot of gas problems, and that's something I talked to Alexandra about, and she's like, just put her in a wrap, it'll help. And I was like, no, whatever. And then she gave me a short wrap and she gave me a long wrap, and the short wrap was great for like plop hip carries, in and out, boom and done. The thick, heavy size 6 became my new favorite carrier of, I was able to wrap her. I can still wrap her in that. It's not a problem. Bringing the knees up, doing a front cross carry. I don't know how many hours she spent in that thing for a while, like walking down the road, working gas out, because it helped so much just putting her in that carrier and bringing those knees up. And I didn't have to do it, and I didn't have to hold her in that position. I just had to walk with her. So we went for a walk down the road, and I sang to her, and blah blah. Yeah, I did the mom thing, all right. And I used that one quite a few times. Atticus feels so tiny in it. The last time I tried to wrap it, he was just so tiny. I'm like, oh. But no, I definitely, you notice a difference out of the package. Like, there's no debate whether you notice a difference or not. The jacquard is going to be thicker. It is going to be heavier. It is going to resemble a rug more likely than the lighter fabric will. But if you give it a little love and you beat it up a little bit, throw it in the washing machine, iron it, do those things, work with it, you'll find that it's a lot more snuggly and it's a lot more lovely than just the standard, because the standard just doesn't hug the same way that a jacquard does. Maybe that's probably my own personal opinion. I don't notice heat, but I notice how well this wrap is going to hug my child. It just seems more cuddly. Maybe it's because I gave that wrap more love. Maybe you give it a little love and it gives you some love back. I don't know. Now I'm babbling.
Yeah. Well, and that's how fabric is. I think you know that because you do sewing. Like, the more you sort of like, it has a life, which I think is something people don't sort of think about. But like, fabrics like this, they have like a life, and they sort of mature over time and through use and things like that. So then Mika, if you're asking about washing and drying the half buckle, yes, and I have a oh, I think we lost Jesse. That's okay. We have a guide that I can link to you about how to wash and dry. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'm not sure just to be able to come back on. I think maybe she needed to go to a little one. But that's okay. We thank you so much for being here. I'll get done with her and I'll thank her for talking with us. But thanks for being here. We are gonna, like I said, I have an article that I've written for you talking a little bit more about fabric qualities and differences. I've watched the whole video, it's too much, that's totally fine. But I hope that that helps. So yeah, I would never have thought of fabric making these subtle differences. Yeah, and it's something where, like Jesse said, that's always my first thing. It's like, find the style that you think is going to work for your family. We have a guide for that. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. We have a guide for that. And then pick something that makes you happy, and we'll work with you. And we intentionally are going to carry things that should work for most families in terms of fabric. It's just kind of what is the most optimum. So if the biggest and most important thing to you is, heat, I'm so hot, and I need something that's going to last a long time, I'm going to send you to the linen, because that's the absolute best that I have for you. And I should have pulled one of those wrapped out. I'll do it another time and kind of show that thing, because this is a blend. But there's all kinds of different factors. So we've got a quiz that we've made that I'm going to be sending out to email list soon to play with. Even if you already have a carrier or know, it's going to be kind of a fun way to kind of see what else what you like. What kind of recommendations do we have for you, and it's a good thing to send to your friends. So I'm going to be sharing that soon. I've got an article with more about fabric, but thank you so much. Jesse, my phone died. That's okay. Thank you so much, Jesse, for being on with us. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and we'll chat soon. If you have any other questions, go ahead, put them in the comments or DM us on the website. It's no problem at all. Yeah, we love to hear from you, and we hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you, Sylvia. Bye now.